In fight against extreme racism, we must look at what the dominant society are doing. When you look at this slideshow that I'm showing you now, these are the people in corridors of power, the politicians and the judges from other ethnic background that have something in common with the dominant society. Those individuals, you are familiar faces, you might know them if you're in US or you're in UK. So it seems like the dominant society doesn't work with anyone these days, except if you have something in common with them, as we see with those people they are promoting in power. I think the criteria they said now is that you must have like marriage connection or children before they trust you, because those people you see there from other background doesn't disappoint them, because they're either their husband or their wife are from dominant society, so they cannot get against their wives or their husband. I think in fight against racism, we should look at what they're doing so that we incorporate it. So we should fight racism by not by ourselves only, but by other group, by setting standard and work people that have something in common with us. Hello guys, welcome back to Hail and Ride African Facebook page and YouTube channel. Today our topic is reducing extreme racism in police force and in judicial system in both US and UK. You know, I have seen a lot of people take extreme position when it comes to racism or fight against racism. Talk about some of our black people, our brothers and sisters, they take extreme position when it talks about when it comes to racism and the way to fight against it. You know, it's good sometimes not to go take extreme position in everything you are fighting about, because if you take extreme position, you alienate some people. You know, some people say, oh, when we fight against racism, we should not work with other groups. But I disagree with this notion. I think that we should work with other groups. But before we work with any person or group of people, we should set standard. I mean, the standard on who we're going to work with, or measures, you know, to make sure that the people we are working with outside our own race, they meet up with this standard we set. Because we should be learning every day. You know, we look at the dominant society on what they do. We should learn from them sometimes. You know, to expand our own idea. And this is what I have taken time to investigate. That's why I'm gonna, this topic, which is close to my heart, about racism, I've taken time to investigate, and that's why I'm putting out this means we should adapt in fighting extreme racism. Because when we look at what the dominant society is saying, we can see the way they are moving. We should move the way they are moving as well. That's why we should work with other group, and before we work with any individual, as I said, we set the standard. And that standard should be, if anybody doesn't have anything in common with black people, we shouldn't work with them. It's not only to talk about racism if you're from other group, you know, how bad it is, or the best way to stop it if you're from other group. But we shouldn't work with those people that just say it, but we should work with people from other groups that have something in common with us, which is what the dominant society are doing. Because if you look at the political system in both the US and UK, and even the judicial system as well, You look at this pattern these people are taking. And that pattern is they don't trust, I think it shows that they don't trust black people, but the only other group of people, if they're going to work with them, they must have something in common. This is the standard we are seeing now. That's why I put up all these pictures of people in politics in both the UK and UK from different background, but they have something in common. You know, before these people can promote them. When you look at in America, for instance, the Democrats and even the Republicans does this. You know, now if they want to promote you as a black person or somebody from another group, you must have something in common with them, which means either you have married someone from their group, or you have children, mixed children, and this is what they do. I think we should borrow from what they are doing. The same thing in America, the same thing in UK. When you look at those politicians from other background, black people or Indians or Chinese, you know, I think this is now their criteria. You must be married to one of their people, because when you do that, you protect their interest, because they know you're not going to go against your wife or your husband, because your husband is part of them. That's why you see most of those our people that have interracial marriage with white people, and in power, in political, they promoted them to political power or in judicial system. They always serve the interests of the dominant society. They don't serve the interests of our people. So they don't serve the interests of most of the time. Let me put it that way. And this is the pattern they do. The Democrat, the Republican does it. Even Obama would not have been president if the mom was not a white person. Which means Obama have something in common with them. The same thing in Supreme Court. You look at Thomas Clarence. You know, he's married to a white woman. Even the other lady as well, they promoted recently to Supreme Court, a black lady married a white man. This is the pattern they do. So to reduce the racism in police force, black people must insist that, or if any police person that will be gonna monitor or be in charge of black community, anywhere black are dominant in a city, should have something in common with black people, not just bring someone that doesn't have anything in common. And because if they have something in common, like if they bring a police chief that's married to a black woman, you know, that at least have something in common with black people. The same thing in judicial system. If the judge that tries someone, maybe she's married to a black man, I don't think you see this harsh judgment they're giving to black people. You know, when a black person commits a crime and somebody from dominant society commits the same crime, they get different sentences. Because most of the time, people that give these sentences to black people, they don't have anything in common with us. And the same thing with the same thing with the politicians as well. Because in UK here, you see that most of those from other background, these people are promoting always is fighting for the interests of their people, the dominant society. Because they don't promote you now. I think it's like now a requirement. They don't promote you now to any political offices except if you have something in common with them. I think black people, we should apply the same standard. You know, if you're gonna work with us in fight of racism, you must have something in common with us. But we shouldn't fight racism alone. That's why I take my time to bring you those people have been those interracial couples, you know, that is in politics in America and in UK and the judicial system. I will watch along, I explain more about those people. In fight against extreme racism, we must look at what the dominant society are doing. When you look at this slideshow that I'm showing you now, these are the people in corridors of power, the politicians and the judges from other ethnic background that have something in common with the dominant society. Those individuals, you are familiar faces, you might know them if you're in US or you're in UK. So it seems like the dominant society doesn't work with anyone these days, except if you have something in common with them, as we see with those people they are promoting in power. I think the criteria they said now is that you must have like marriage connection or children before they trust you, because those people you see there from other background doesn't disappoint them, because they're either their husband or their wife are from dominant society, so they cannot go against their wives or their husband. I think in fight against racism, we should look at what they're doing so that we incorporate it. So we should fight racism by not by ourselves only, but by other group, by setting standard and work people that have something in common with us.